you. And now we have a group of people who are speaking in relation to the St Albans Pavilion and Pool. I think Lynne O'Keefe and Peggy Kelly are coming forward to make the presentation on behalf of a number of other people who, some of whom are here. Please come forward.
Thank you. We were also including Steve Anderson.
Yes, that's absolutely fine.
And he will speak directly after from the Business Association. Yep.
Shall we get organised? Document.
We can ask them to. Yeah. Right, well, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today. This is fantastic hearing this up for debate. I'm Lynne O'Keefe. Peggy Kelly is a long-time resident and very involved with this community, and Stephen is the local supermarket owner that is also treasurer of the St Albans Pavilion and Pool Group. It's going to we will give a bit of background to our own involvement in this. I'm actually a West Coaster who has lived in Christchurch for 48 years. With my husband, we were in the hospitality business for 40 years, 20 of those in Warner's Hotel in Cathedral Square. I'm sure many of you know that premises. In 2001, with the support of the council of the day, we undertook major refurbishment of the hotel inside and out, earthquake strengthening, fire protection, etc., bringing it up to the current code. So it was quite a massive undertaking. Unfortunately, all came to an end with the 2011 earthquake. We relocated to the Edgware village, opening Bailey's Bar in 2013. We were accepted into the area as people wanted a community hub, and Bailey's filled that need and still does today. We sold Bailey's in the late 2016, and that's when I got involved with the community. First with the St Albans Residents Association, and in 2018 joined the Pool Group. I've lived in St Albans since 1995. I hadn't realised it was that long till I added it up. Some might say some of those houses were in Mirabel, but I was on the east side of Papanui Road, so that's St Albans. 5 years ago, I moved into Dover Street, about 500 metres from the pool site. I love living in Edgware. I feel very much at home in this community, making new friends amongst my neighbours, and everything we need is close by. So Peggy, would you like to?
Yes, I've lived in St Albans for 44 years. And in the area now designated as Edgware. I have been involved in quite a few projects, community projects in the area, especially the establishment of Pack Street Park and Community Garden. And I was involved in writing the letter to council from that incorporated organisation to oppose the demolition of the pool. So my involvement with the issue goes back a long time.
Thank you. Stephen?
Good afternoon, I'm Stephen Anderson. So I own the Edgware Fresh Choice supermarket, which was formerly the Edgware Super Value. Basically, so that supermarket has been there for over 50 years. I haven't been there quite that long. After I was there before the earthquake, and basically we had to rebuild the supermarket there, and as did a lot of the other businesses rebuild there. So I'm representing the Edgware Business Association, which most of the retailers belong to at Edgware. That group was formed after the earthquake. We got together and started to build up the retail area there, which was fairly heavily hit, as some of you will know, and you know, that was with the help of the council and their village project there. So we've worked together on that, and I'm sure we can work together on this, you know, this fabulous pool project, which is going to be, you know, very good for the community. And I'm sure council wants the communities to be looking after their own community, and I think you can. There's no better project than a pool which is, you know, going to be a healthy outdoor environment, and you know, looking at the COVID situation, what better facility could you build? You know, recently they opened the community centre in the St Albans Community Centre in Colombo Street, which has been really great for the community. It's brought a lot more people into St Albans, and it's helped the retailers. We all work together as a group, and it's been great. And a fabulous pool facility, outdoor pool facility, is really going to help the community a lot. And it's just got so many positive benefits for the retailers as well as the community. It's not often you can have a win-win situation like this for all the local schools, which I think there's about 7 approximately, which currently have to bus their students to other areas, so they don't get much time at the actual swimming places where they could walk to the St Albans pool. So you know, there's just so many benefits, and thanks. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, I'll begin. Now, Stephen has said most of what I'm going to say, but I've spent hours writing this, so I'm going to do it. So I'm speaking on behalf of other submitters who have given up their speaking rights to allow us to speak as one voice, so that you're not having to hear the same message over and over many times. Firstly, we'd like to acknowledge the ongoing support of the Pepinui Innes Community Board, and also thank the hearings and committee support team who have received and collated our submissions and met with us to get this here. I'm not going to dwell on the past, because I'm sure other submitters have done that. Our group's focus now is on the future, to have the Edgewear Pool rebuilt and once again serve this community as it has done for 70 years. The drawing up there, you can see the proposed facility comprises 2 heated pools, one 25 by 12 metres with maybe a manu pool off to the side at the deep end, an 8 by 12 learners pool with adjacent toddler splash area, the main a modest building housing a plant room, changing rooms, a reception area and a meeting room surrounded by a significant level of landscaped grassed area. There is also accessible entry, as you can see, against the building up there down the side of the eastern side of the pool. So reading through these 70 odd submissions we gathered, many have fond memories of going to the pool and spending many summer days in the water. I think jewellery, one of the numerous recent posts on our Facebook, says it all. Hot summers learning to swim. Would bike from our Cranford Street home with my siblings and spend many hours swimming and lying in the sun. Remember climbing in over the fence was easy. To fix that, our QE said the same thing actually. Achieved my Girl Guide swimming badge at Edgewear Pool. Many a hot sunny day we enjoyed, and we all remember those hot long summers. So am I controlling the slides, or can somebody put the next one up? Did I just do this? Okay, this is a map of the schools in our area, and we've picked an area because we had a feasibility study done in 2019, and it identified an area of a 2 kilometre radius. We've actually tried to match that up, but I'll tell you the source of this information later. So we've identified schools with only we've left St Margaret's on it, you can see down in this side here, but up the top, in the top right-hand corner, is the Maori House School, which is the only one that still has its own pool. To quote New Zealand Water Safety, we believe community access to a pool is vitally important so children and adults can learn to swim the water safely and with confidence. Swimming has no age barrier. We want all our community to have the chance to learn swimming skills. There are 16 primary and secondary schools within the 2 kilometre radius of the pool site. This represents about 7,500 children. While a few schools have managed to hold on to their own swimming pools, not all are suitable for competitive swimming training, school sports days or competition. For example, the St Albans pool cannot be considered for community use, nor can it be utilised as a proper learn to swim as it is too shallow. And 5 days a year of swimming lessons that these schools now offer is not enough to equip our children with the skills they need. And as Stephen said, they're currently bussed outside the area, which takes up about 2 hours out of their day. The Edgware Pool would be an easy 4-minute walk from St Albans Primary. We have MOUs from St Albans School, St Albans Catholic, and expressions of interest from Paparoa Street School, Heaton and Seabrook Mackenzie. For example, Paparoa Street advised they currently send 20 classes to swimming per week, with an average of 20 children in each class. This would amount to around 400 attendances per week during the summer swimming period. This community pool will provide the opportunity for young people to learn life-saving skills. This then can lead them taking up life-saving as a community paid or volunteer service. Children have a huge opportunity to do team sports, but individual interests and abilities are not so widely promoted. Lots of kids who aren't sporty in the accepted terms of find joy and achievement in the water. The old pool used to hold Saturday mornings free for all learn to swim. It could be 200 to 300 kids there. The swim club taught thousands of youngsters to swim and was active till around 2020, using the Shirley Intermediate pool after the pool closure. It is now in recess awaiting the new pool. And of course, the location of the pool on the major cycleway, 2 frequent bus routes connecting the surrounding suburbs and with easy walking distance for locals, adheres to our climate change principles. Many parents are time poor and cannot get their children to swimming lessons outside the area, and some do not have the resources to do this. Swimming lessons are not cheap. And I'd just like to read a bit out of a regular contributor to the St Albans News, regales us of adventures with his grandchildren. In the current issue, he tells of taking his 2 granddaughters to a local park. There's a stream there with a narrow board to cross it and a tree hut beyond. The girls want to play hide and seek. After counting to 30, Granddad's seeking skills are abysmal and a degree of concern is rising. The stream, though not deep, is quite swift. It isn't the first incident involving water for Granddad's adventures. A fall into Traverse Swamp and another into the Avon while feeding ducks. Accidents will happen and Kiwi kids need to have the skills to handle them. He continues, I see a lot of children in the area now who have come from countries without the same water risk their new country has. The new pool can only help lower that risk for them. I know one grandparent who really appreciates knowing their children. St Albans has a significant multicultural population and a sizable community of those with disabilities, such as the Blind Low Vision New Zealand, just by Blue Park there. We must listen to and be inclusive to all our society's needs. In my own submission, I talked of growing up in Westport surrounded by water. We mainly swim in a beach formed within the Buller River by the breakwaters engineered over 100 years ago, and we've heard a lot about that Buller River since recently. But we were given the confidence to be safe in the water, whether it be in the sea or the river, because of extensive swimming lessons in our school pool. And then when we outgrew the school pool, the Westport baths were a popular after-school hangout. That is why, and many other submitters want to see that for our children and our children's children, because now we've missed a whole generation of St Albans children, or 3 intakes of the local primary schools being able to walk to the school, to the pool and hang out. When you think about those children at these schools, they've only known trauma and chaos, school rebuilds, road cones, now living with the pandemic and conflict conflicts overseas and climate change. We see the results of pressure on these families. Right, next slide. As in our submission, we quoted Susie Wiles, and we all love Susie. The current pandemic shows us the need to move our facilities outdoors. This is not something that can be left to individuals, but needs both public and private investment in our country's infrastructure. The Edgware Pool is a perfect fit. It is important to get our children off their devices and outside. A New Zealand Nutrition Foundation recent national survey says about 1 in 3 New Zealand children had too little vitamin D in their blood. But it isn't all about the children. As I said earlier, swimming has no age barrier. I know from our local cycling group, and you've heard of us, the Wednesday Wheelies, whose riders age between 60 and 85, that outdoors activity is important to maintain good health at any age. We will certainly use the pool after a ride on a hot day. We also have several lifestyle villages in our area. Sessions such as aquajogging, a low-impact exercise to get the heart pumping and blood flowing, for the more active, lane swimming will be popular. Somewhere between 400 and 600 cycle journeys are recorded on the Colombo Street Bailey Avenue intersection on the Papanui parallel every day. We do not know the numbers who use Edgware Road, but we do know it will be substantial. They will be potential users to get in a few links on their way to work or on their way home. There are numerous water-focused groups who will also take advantage of this facility. Next slide. So the Edgware Pool brings in, and just keep on clicking it, a new dimension in community engagement. In the photos up here are all the fundraising keep clicking, that have taken place over the last few years. We had a good couple of years of quizzes, but COVID put paid to that. But we engaged with the community. I used to feel sometimes when I was talking to people, they'd be looking at me and saying, oh, they're not still talking about that pool. But this engagement, recent engagement with the community to gather support for the submission, it is more than obvious that the appetite for a community pool is as strong as ever and amongst locals has never waned. The outdoor environment of the pool will furnish the community with an alternative space to gather. Alongside Kohinga, St Albans Community Centre, this can only encourage the community to prosper. As Ellie Jones also noted, and Stephen says, that there was a notable increase in business with the opening of the community centre, and it can only grow with the addition of the pool complex. Right, Peggy, and we'll go on to the next slide.
There's no doubt whatsoever that the closing of the Edgware Pool in 2006 exacerbated the shortage of recreational facilities for local children in St Albans. It especially affected those living in the newly rezoned high-density L3 area across the 8 blocks between Caledonian Road and Geraldine Street. That's between Edgware Road and Cannon Street. The closure went ahead in spite of the council's own surveys demonstrating that St Albans was already short of green space and recreational amenities compared with other parts of Christchurch. I remember being very involved in the development of Pack Street Park and Community Garden at that time, and realising how many of our local children didn't get a family holiday or even odd days away to the beach during the long school break between Christmas and the new term. I remember one mother in particular taking her 6 children and 2 extras from another household along to the Edgware Pool day after day. For her, that old pool was a godsend. I remember after the demolition how we at Pack Street began to run holiday programmes for the children, and the St Albans Community Resource Centre, now Kohinga, did that too. These programmes included excursions to places like Taylor's Mistake so that the children could have a chance to play together safely in the water on hot days. In the intervening years, our community has greatly changed. Suddenly, with the L3 zoning in 1999 came the loss of trees. Sections were utterly cleared of vegetation prior to subdivision. After the earthquakes, urban renewal speeded up, and now children are being brought up in homes with very little personal outdoor space to play in. The new developments where I live have some shared space, mostly asphalted, and only for cars. Even the little piece of Crown-owned woodland where the children used to play on the old Orion site was clear-felled for housing. As we transition from L3 to the more general medium density housing, the effects of intensification are going to be felt even more widely throughout the suburb. So the prospect of getting our pool back and its shady green gardens too is absolutely thrilling. Its setting is perfect. Access by bicycle and by walking is now enhanced by the cycleway and the extra traffic lights. They make the busy intersections safer along the roads. The pool's location, tucked in behind the municipal water facility, is a great use of precious space. Its location is perfect. It puts the pool back at the very heart of its community. Those of us who have decided to support the project through our bequests fully realise that our good intentions are not going to get a facility built now for this generation of children or for ourselves. We need some ready money to get cracking. Working together, it'll be a win-win for the council and community. That's how I see it.
Thank you, Peggy. So the slide that's up there now, all those housing developments are all within about 500 metres of the pool site. So I'm just going to now go on to the increase in population. So the next slide, thanks. You couldn't go on, would I? Here we go. So we all know of the rapid growth in St Albans and surrounding suburbs. This map shows where RSL, doing their feasibility study, set out the 2 kilometre radius. In 2019, when they did that report, they reported the projected population growth in that area of 7.6% from 2013 to 2043. So that's an increase from 39,180 to 42,140. Click it again now, Peggy. This map here is used by a company that we've used to distribute the St Albans News. So I've tried to roughly pick out the area, but it's pickily because they work in blocks. That map there gives us a total of 19,802 households. So if you multiply that by 2.5, that's 49,505 possible residents. So that's a long way out from the projections and I think came from Stats New Zealand. So we know that Edgware, St Albans West, St Albans East and Linwood have the most households per hectare in Christchurch. So the population of interest must relate to the expected customer base for the facility, which in turn is related to its size and scale. Based on Statistics New Zealand data, RSL also suggested the catchment area is not expecting a large population growth and that the demographic is ageing, and the 0 to 14 age group is actually projected to decrease by 12%. This is hard to reconcile when the St Albans school roll has increased from 550 to 650 in roughly a 2-year period, and the school has had to decrease its enrolment zone as a result. But I am interested in that ageing demographic because we can't take that by numbers, because I'll be 70 next year, but I don't feel a day over 40. So I don't, so that's sort of a change now, isn't it, from when what these people were thinking only 3 years ago. And as I said before, our cycle group is 60 to 85. So as we concluded in our submission that you all have read, it is, before I go back, we had also circulated a letter yesterday that Peggy had written in 2006. It's very interesting reading. You must read it because what she wrote then is what we're talking about today. So as we concluded in our submission, it is challenging for not-for-profit community organisations to attract funding for capital works. The council grant of $3 million will provide a much higher level of confidence needed in order to attract funders. There's good community support, but the residents should not be expected to fund the majority out of their pockets because they will be running the pool. So I'm not sure, next slide, not sure if any of you have time to listen to National Radio in the afternoon, but there was a recent interview with Jessie Mulligan and Diane Calvert, a Wellington City Councillor. And go on. A recent campaign by the community in Kandala, Wellington, was successful in retaining their outdoor community pool. Nothing had been spent on that pool for 60 years. The Wellington City Council recently voted 13 out of 15 to rebuild the pool and committed a staggering $8.05 million budget to do that. And I'll quote from Positively Wellington's website: ensuring this pool continues for many more generations of Wellingtonians goes to the heart of what councils do, providing community amenities for the people. And this growing population in St Albans certainly needs amenities. I know Kandala is a fairly affluent suburb in Wellington, so probably had more clout than St Albans had in 2006, and not to mention the support from local councillors. And I see it was also supported by another West Coaster, the local MP, Greg O'Connor. And as I read somewhere, and somebody here wrote that, the council has an important role to enable active and connected communities, recognising the social capital as the most important ingredient in successful communities, and the innate capability that exists within and emerges from communities of purpose reaffirms their responsibilities for creating the kind of community they wish to be. And as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. The Kandala Pool was hoping to reopen on their 100th anniversary in 2025. 2024 will be, next slide, thanks, will be the 90th anniversary of the St Albans Pool, and wouldn't it be great to celebrate that by opening a new pool? And on the slide that's up there now, don't disappoint another generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have questions? Jake and Sarah?
Oh, just if there was time, how do I get my hands on one of those tie-dye t-shirts? Is that something that can be
We
arranged?
can get you one. We know where to find you.
Thank you.
They're fantastic.
I think there'll be a fee involved, because you wouldn't want to give a councillor anything.
No, we will not be giving councillor anything.
As long as it's not
they are
3
for
million.
sale, Jake.
Yeah, and I think an extra fee on top of that would be appropriate.
Yes,
Sarah?
it comes with a very large price tag.
Hey, sorry, just a quick question on operating and operational expenses once the pool's up and going. I know that our local school pool fundraised post-quake to sort of rebuild the pool, widen it a little bit and heat it. The biggest struggle they have now as a school is paying for the electricity for the heating. And so they're looking to fundraise to do solar panels, those kind of things. Is that something you're looking at? Because when it comes to those operational expenses, putting the capital up front.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it's easier to put that solar panel in the initial build and build it in with capital works. Yeah, that is something that we are looking at. Yes, most definitely.
Yes,
yeah.
I know that they're having a
Because,
real struggle.
It is a high cost, the
Yeah.
electricity. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a business plan there.
Yeah, we have done a business.
Yeah,
plan.
we've seen it before. I was sort of
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Very good. Melanie, did you have a question? Oh, sorry. I thought I'd seen your hand up. All right. Well, look, thank you all very much for making a presentation this morning. I kind of wish like you could roll back time, but you've asked us to not focus on the past, but to focus on the future.
Just on the future.
So,
Yeah, and it's the future of those little ones that are on the screen. It's their time, and we have to do it for them. So, Stephen, have you got more to add from the Business Association, or you?
Oh, look, just briefly, I think we've covered most of the points. I'd just like to say one thing is when we were going through rebuilding the supermarket, I didn't understand just how much the community there was involved even in a project like that. They just really missed the supermarket, and in fact a lot of customers would come up to me and said, they say, when are we getting our supermarket back? Which sort of, it blew me away, because I just thought, it's a commercial project, but there was so much the community really missed the supermarket, as it does the pool. there's still many customers coming into the supermarket that, you know, say, look, we still remember that pool. We used to swim there as kids. And now they want their kids and their grandchildren to swim there. It really means a lot. We'd just like to say, as a business association, we commend, you know, the decision by the City Council to increase the funding, and it's really good for the community. It's good for the businesses. We can all work together on this, and for all the reasons that Lynne and Peggy have stated, you know, we fully endorse this funding, and we just think it's really marvellous. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Celeste Donovan.
Hey, thank you very much. Really enjoyed reading through all the submissions. Very quick one from me. Do you have an intended opening time and month? Do you think?
Well, no, we don't, because that is purely dependent on fundraising. And when we've reached our target, they looking at other time.
Sorry, operational. Is that?
So
Hours of operation.
Sorry. I mean, when are you planning on being open? Sorry.
Oh, are you meaning hours of operation?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, we would probably be initially in line with what council pools do now, which is November through till the end of February. We will be heated, so we can go a bit longer, and we will operate with a key system too. So it means that system can be longer for key holders, and
that'll cut down
we'll base
cost.
it on that, cutting down the costs, because the wage factor is the main cost. So, and it opens from 7:30. I think I've got that here. 7:30 till 7 p.m. Okay, because we've got close neighbours, so close early.
That's lovely. Look, thank you,
Okay.
all of you, for making your presentation today, and on behalf of so many members of the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next one.